Before I begin, I would like to apologize for the lack of footage of this game. I played this on my Switch and don't have a capture card yet, so hopefully this compilation of random gameplay clips will do. From the start alone, I could tell I was in for something different, with Arceus taking the place of the traditional professor explaining the world, with their character waking up on the beach having fallen from the sky. Quick note, be prepared to be referred to as person who fell from the sky for the entire game. Your character wakes up on Prelude Beach instead of at the iconic place of the trainer's house, signalling a shake-up of the entire series' traditions. The game instantly felt like nothing that had come before it. With the new to the series camera style, when taking control of the character, the graphics are indeed nothing to write home about, but the Pokemon series has never really been known for its graphics. Even Red and Blue weren't exactly lookers when they first released on the original Game Boy. The biggest hook of the entire game, for me personally at least, is the simple act of catching Pokemon in the overworld. This feature had been introduced previously, but not on this level. Throwing and catching the ball feels skillful and engaging. Successfully catching a Pokemon feels more satisfying than ever, and a lot more exciting now that you aren't just pressing A and waiting for the ball to shake. Especially if the first attempt doesn't take, and you have to either try again or throw out a Pokemon to battle it, before it either flees or attacks you. Having to catch all three of the starters before choosing which one you want is arguably one of the best tutorials the games have ever offered. Starting battles by actually throwing your Pokemon out is a small but immersive feature. The timeline change has shifted the tone quite considerably. No longer are the Pokemon a friendly known quantity, but now seem as dangerous as wild animals, to be feared and studied, which in my opinion makes them more interesting. You are met with the village's captain of the Survey Corps, of which you are to be a new recruit. That is, if you pass your test, which if you can't, you are banished from the village and cast out to your possible death, which is really quite brutal when you think about it. I did appreciate how the roles have changed. Now it is you who hides in the tall grass, lying in wait for the unsuspecting Pokemon to come into your range. I also like the sound design of how things quieted down while you're crouched in the tall grass, everything else becoming slightly muted. They've also addressed the old ethical problem of having Pokemon not currently in your group eternally languishing inside the PC, this time choosing to let the Pokemon live in the gated pastures of the village. Being able to see them there too is a nice touch. While there do seem to be a few loading screens, thankfully they are acceptably fast. While there are a lot of text boxes and dialogue in this game too, it thankfully doesn't overstay its welcome too much. Once you are done with the admittedly overly long village tutorial and have started the story proper, you are sent out into the field to survey, and it's here the game really opens up and shows its hook. Personally, I felt that the series has been missing this kind of exploration and satisfying feedback loop of catching Pokemon just for the sake of filling up the Pokédex. I've always been of the mindset of once I had my team, I just wanted to level them, clown on the gyms, then head to the Elite Four after catching the legendaries. This time, with no gyms or Elite Four to speak of, I found myself exploring for the sake of it, not leaving a stone unturned and feeling genuine excitement at seeing a Pokemon that I hadn't yet caught. The battling in this game has also been expanded upon, now with leveling up, the Mons master individual moves, which offers more flexibility in the turn-based battles, offering strong style and agile style. While it's a fairly simple addition, it does spice up the old formula. Experience is given out in abundance for winning battles, catching Pokemon and for using team members to gather crafting materials. Thankfully, they never felt over-leveled, which is surprising in the mainline games. I have many memories of leveling my starter and ruffle stopping most of the game. Thankfully, that's not the case here, and on numerous occasions I found my party wiped and having to retreat, which you can do now simply by up and running away from the fight. No more failed attempts to flee. The leading cause of the party wipes were in large part due to the new Alpha Pokemon, variants with glowing red eyes, usually larger in size with different moves and better stats. They are also a lot harder to catch. I welcome this challenge as it kept things interesting. There's a real threat from these alphas, especially if you get into a fight with one or two regular Pokemon alongside it. so it becomes a 1v3, and believe me, that happens more frequently than you think, mostly in the built-up areas. The alphas can be tens of levels above you, depending on how much you have currently leveled. They can and will easily one-hit you a lot of the time. You'll have to really wear down your party if you want a shot at catching one before you match their level. Once you're in a battle and are attempting to catch alpha or otherwise, I'd recommend the heavy ball, especially early on. It's a pain in the arse trying to use it outside in the overworld, but once you are in a fight, the downside of using it is negated. There didn't seem to be any penalty for switching out your team either. As long as it's your turn and you are only switching 1 for 1, you could still take an action after you've switched, which is a big change over the old battle system where you'd be told what the other person is sending out and ask if you wanted to change before they play it. For everyone who is used to having the automatic first go in battles is also in for a big surprise. The battles themselves have also seen a noticeable upgrade. As well as being able to move around during battles, the fights feel much more responsive, with the animations requiring the melee moves to be done up close and the special moves looking overall more impressive. The sound design of the Pokemon's growls at each other back and forth during a battle really helps sell that these are wild creatures. The crafting system introduced to the game is a welcome addition, reducing the need for constant trips back and forth to the market. Now you can forage for materials and craft your own Pokeballs, potions, revives, and a host of other items, creating a need to be constantly on the lookout for materials when out and about. Once you decide to further the story, you'll be introduced to, in my opinion, the game's most unnecessary element, noble Pokemon. While I respect the attempt at something new, these battles felt like they were just keeping me from enjoying the better parts of the game. The best part would be after the fight, where I'd unlock a new area and a whole slew of new Pokemon to catch. I've finished the game and share the general consensus that this is one of the best Pokemon games that has been released in years. Thankfully, given all the high praise and stellar sales so far, hopefully this means this new formula will only get better given more time and sequels. If you're a fan of any of the previous Pokemon games, I encourage you to give this a try. If you can overlook some junk here and there, and an overly long tutorial sequence, you're in for a memorable experience. Thanks for coming to my little corner of the internet. I'll see you next time.